Hello, everybody. I am Sun Psychic Jean, and please welcome Valerie from Dragonfly Crystals. Hi, Val.
Hi. Hi, Jean. It's good to be here. I love it when we have our chats every month. It's a fun time to be here now.
It
So
certainly is. It certainly is. Do you have anything that you would like to tell us about some upcoming classes or shows that you wanted to share with everybody before we get started?
yeah, I do actually. I have an Akashic record reading class where, I mean, if you're a beginner, dive right in or advanced. Come on in. You can learn how to read the Akashic records in my class in one class. And it's coming up on March 14th, Sunday, next Sunday. And you can sign up for that at dragonflycrystals.store. And, this is something, if you've thought about it, oh, you wish you could, but you don't have any clairs. Yeah, you do have them. You just don't realize it. You've been using them from the time you were born. Just come on and sign up. Don't let any of that kind of conversation in your head stop you from experiencing something new, something that you um, are really going to end up being totally changed from. So go ahead and give yourself that gift. It's 2026. Might as well jump in and do whatever little thing is, niggling you or telling you, yeah, you know what? I should do this. So
So
it doesn't
it's on
matter
a
if it's my
Saturday.
class. Yeah, it's Saturday, next Saturday, March 14th. Uh, and I really look forward to teaching that class because it is so much fun. It really is you discovering a new level of who you are and your connection to the Akashic records, which you already read. You just don't know it. So, you know, any of you who are on the fence, go ahead and, sign up for it if you're called to, because it's something you can do for yourself or others or even clients. And you will be doing it, reading the Akashic records after the class and
Wow.
during the class.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. It's a wonderful opportunity, everybody, and it's a building. It's something that you will build on and will help you to build your future with, and something for you to rely on. It's really amazing. So I highly recommend Val's classes for
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you. And what
Mhm.
about you, Jean? What do you have coming up?
Yes, yes, I do. I just finished the pendulum class, and it was a huge hit. We
I
had so much
heard
fun.
people were talking about it to me in my membership group. They were saying, I took Jean's pendulum class and they were all jazzed about it. So yeah, highly recommend that. So yeah,
It
definitely.
it was a lot of fun, and I'm committed to having more, events,
Yeah.
and, so this is my website, sunpsychicjean.com,
Mhm.
and, when you first pop in, you see all of my readings there if anybody is interested in a reading, and then if you're interested in the events, you come over here to this little events tab. I know it's really small, you can't see it, but, and then my next event is going to be Meet Your Power Animal, and that's gonna be on Sunday, March 22nd.
Mhm.
And it starts at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And then the following Sunday will be our psychic study practice group on March 29th at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So if you
Mhm.
guys are interested, you can come on over here and click on this bar, anywhere on this bar, to find out more about it, a little brief description. Make sure you show up 10 minutes before the starting time, and we're going to go over a little bit about what that means, what is a power animal, what it looks like, what they do, what understand it, where it comes from, and then we're going to go into a guided meditation, and we're all going to meet our own power animal. And then when you come out of the meditation, I want to have plenty of time to discuss with everybody if they have any questions about what they experienced. So that is going to be just
Yeah, that'll be fun. That will be powerful.
It,
Because your spirit guides, your spirit animals are with you. Sometimes they can change or whatever, but you're going to have a lot of support from them for sure. So I think that's a wonderful class.
mhm.
Yeah.
And Priscilla from the Crone Zone said that that class changed her life,
Oh,
being
good.
able to read the Akashic records. And she has just really grown and just so much difference. And I know Sarah from Hibiscus Healings, she
Yeah,
also took that
Sarah.
class.
Yeah.
And you offer, if somebody has already taken the class, for them to come in. What do you call that? Proxy the class or something like
They
that?
can audit the class. They can
Audit.
sit in to any class they've taken and just email me and say, I want to sit in on the next class. You don't really sit in, you participate. But as a mentor, you've already gone through this. So it's not like I'm putting responsibility onto you to mentor during the class, but it is a wonderful thing because you know more of what you're doing than the people that are first taking it. So I encourage everyone, take it as many times as you want, whichever class you're taking, and it's free. So email me and I'll send you the link for the class. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a wonderful, beautiful opportunity to, for continuing education and to reaffirm, and today we're going to be talking about shifting into higher consciousness and what that is, what that looks like, what it feels like, how to know, uh, how to recognize it in your own life, as well as navigating this awakening, which is all the same thing, but it's just a couple of different ways that you may hear about it, the awakening, higher consciousness. I like to call it awareness, because if we
Mhm.
are living in awareness, then we are living consciously. And it is with that awareness, with that understanding that we are infinite beings having a human experience and navigating this 3D dimension. But while understanding that all of the other parts of us are also with us, and we have access to all of those other parts of our dimension. Um, and so I just wanted to maybe show a couple of images, Val, if you don't mind,
Yep.
and then we'll talk about them. So this one, I think a lot of people have heard about. This is the 3D Earth, what people have understood the terminology to be in the dimension, or the density. And there's this is the third density, but there's many dimensions in this density, and this is the fifth dimension or density, and there's many dimensions in this density. It does get confusing because they both start with D. So dimensions are bigger. No, densities are one thing, and dimensions are within. It's like um, dimensions. Density is the floor that you're on, because it's confusing. Um, and then the density would be the stairs in between the floors. Like the dimension is the actual, like if you're in a high rise or if you're in a hotel, the dimension is the floor that you're on, and the density is each step going up to the next floor. Is that the way you understand it, Val?
It is a really super confusing thing, but the analogy that comes to me is like this, that um, inside of the dimensional world, you're going through the levels of density. So they're showing me a record, an old vinyl, and the tracks on the vinyl. And there's the track 1, track 2, track 3, and they're all the different levels of density inside of that dimensional state. So I kind of understand it in a little different way, meaning that um, as you're going up in higher density, not lower density, you're at a higher level of that dimensional state. So, but I'm thinking only in terms of like, say you're in 3D and those grooves of the record are where you're at. If you're in 5D, you go through the different densities of that fifth dimensional space, and it's going to give you a different perspective, a different feeling, a different gifts and abilities that you're working inside of that space. So that I may be totally wrong, but that's what they're showing me in terms of kind of understanding it from a perspective of density being how much light is filtering in. Light is truth. How much truth? But it isn't quite even that, because in 3D, for instance, everything, there are different levels of truth. So it's a confusing subject.
Mm-hmm. And you are right. It is the density is the bigger concept, and the dimensions are within the density. So it is the density first. So it is the three third dimension, and then no, the third density, and then there are different dimensions within the density. So the density is larger than the dimension. So
Okay.
I just had it backwards. But anyway, so
I had it backwards, but you get the concept, folks. The inside, there's
I just double checked. I just double checked on
yeah.
some of the terminology that I have here.
Cool, because I am really bad at that. But you know, when you're in the different states of awareness and how you're shifting by the way you view life, how you viewed it 2 years ago versus how you view it today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Huge difference. Huge difference. So here's another graphic that I really I've experienced this in a meditation once, and this is us in the third density 3D, and we are moving through a fourth dimensional portal or fourth density portal in order to get to the fifth density. And this is the new earth. But I've actually I saw this as trying to emerge through a very small opening, and the earth was being pushed through this very small opening, and I then was had the understanding that it was a birthing that was occurring through this imagery that I was picking up on, or the imagery that was given to me for me to help to understand. And this is the more strenuous, more birthing pains. This is the strenuous kind of part for us to go through this change. But this is the ultimate result, and I believe that we are currently here. Most of us are currently here, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. It's such a big concept, and I think I heard somebody else say that we don't even understand 1% of how the universe works. It is so vast and so beyond the human ability to understand these concepts that we really try and put it into the most simplest language to help understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is.
So go ahead. Did you want to share anything about this?
No, I agree totally with everything you're saying. And it is definitely, I like burping. It is almost like a rebirth of ourselves as you're going through the birth canal. It kind of hits me that way as you're going through that. And then you pop out. It's funny. It hits me that way. Yeah, we're in the birth canal. The Crohn zone says, yeah, we're in the birth canal right now. That's why it's so painful. I agree totally. That's another way to look at it, because it is painful in some ways. I mean, not to say we have to dwell in that part of it, but you can see the world has the growing pains or the stretching or the metamorphosis of it all, contractions, are happening, and it can be, that's why in birth and you are told to breathe, do the breathing. That's kind of what we have to do to not get caught up in the kind of when contractions hit. When we're talking about the big picture of the world and what the world is going through right now in terms of the chaoticness, and the energy now, it's kind of calls for us to stay grounded and to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fetal distress. It is kind of it does lend itself to seeing it from that lens, the world and everything that's going on now. So I did like your diagram, your picture. It did show it well.
It really is a global and a universal occurrence. It's happening in the universe, which is happening on our planet, and it's also. Do you notice that in the astrology, the planetary lineup they're all moving through the old age, and we're in the new beginning of the new age, and coming into 0 degrees Aries, and everything is beginning again, starting again, and we're having this rebirth or this renewal, and it's not only in the planetary lineup, which is also a language or an energetic understanding, but it's also in our own energy as humanity. So how I understand it is that humanity, or there have been civilizations that have self destructed and then were reborn and started again. And in order to facilitate an evolution in humanity. However, in this incarnation, we are moving from one dimensional type of, or it's not a dimensional, it's one density from the 3D and the, being in the monkey mind and on the hamster wheel and in the matrix. And we're moving into a more awakened, more aware, more crystalline, more connected to our spirit guides, humanity. So humanity is moving from one reality into another reality. If you consider that matrix or that hamster wheel one reality, and this awareness of our spirit guides and who we truly are another reality, it's not that the reality changes, it's that we are changing. And when we change, everything around us changes, because
Exactly.
we see things differently. We're not, we're just not, we don't buy all the other stuff that's not true. It's just not, we're not able to be controlled, or we're not able to be, told a story or manipulated anymore, because we've grown into our strength. We've grown into our truth.
It's really true. Well, to understand the concept of your consciousness creates your reality in your own little universe, and everything on the stage is part of that kind of projection of who you think you are, who you've been told to be, who you've been manipulated, you can say, by the system to be. Those are all part of, you aren't a victim, because those are all part of the divine plan that you came down to experience to make you who you are today. You went through those troubled times when you were young so that you could understand what empathy was like, or understand there's always a gift from that hurdle that you had to jump over. So you have made yourself conscious of these things in your life by going through those times. So you've given yourself those gifts. But at the end of the day, the reality that you see in front of you is created by you. And so to have that higher perspective, to have that bigger view, you have to let go of all those, how people see you, who you think you are. And all of that is just the illusion of somebody else's opinion that you've projected out there. So none of that, all of that societal stuff, all of that is kind of going to fall away from you. And what you're going to do is have that internal, I am this big expansive being who is here creating this. Wow. Look at this. And that's the place we're all coming to, that we are all realizing, and in a sovereign way, in a way in which we are allowing ourselves to see from a soul level how everything is, how the earth school was put together, how it all flows. And we see the construct of it. We start to see the mechanisms and we go, oh, that's interesting, without buying into all the drama or without buying into everything. And that's when we start to stand in our power and we start to, oh, I am creating all of this for my remembering who I am. And so you have all of this. This has always been inside of all of you. Everything that you think you need to have is already contained within you, basically.
I wish I knew 10 years ago what I know now. I think that, so many things would be different. And I love the way you say that what we see is an illusion of somebody else's opinion. Oh
Yes.
my gosh, Val.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
And how convincing it was.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, we have all lived through, the light workers out there, have all lived through all of this because you put yourself through the ringer,
jumping through the hoops,
you jump through
all of that medical stuff and seeing, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love seeing, I've been seeing a lot of herbalists, and they say the best there's echinacea root and dandelion root, and it's the only antibiotic you'll ever need. I'm like, you know what? I can't wait. I'm like, I'm going to go down to my apothecary and go get some herbs, because it's
really true.
Why not?
It's absolutely everything on the earth is here for us to utilize. And it's really, when you realize that a lot of these medications that doctors give you, not that I'm giving medical advice, are based on herbal remedies, are based on plant life, are based on, like, mold for penicillin. It's based on things that the earth creates. So pretty interesting when you think about it that way. And you realize golden seal can help you with there's a whole bunch of different things. Like, get yourself a book on herbs, because it's pretty mind-boggling that in centuries ago, they were using all of these remedies instead of relying on a doctor, because they didn't have one, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, rather. But we're not telling you not to go to the doctor. I go myself. I like to blend. I blend it all together so that I have a good overall view of everything. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's really that, it's like that awareness. It's like, and that's what people say. I finally woke up and I realized that what I've been taught my whole life is not really all there is, that there's other things that I can do. I have other abilities that I can sense, I can resonate with, I can get, sound healing, I can get aromatherapy, I can get acupuncture, all of these things. And they were not, the first track. It was always the money track. It was the first track that was offered to us. And just the fact that it's one of my little pet peeves that nobody was ever taught about personal finances in school. They never said boo. They never told you how to save. They just, I was like, why don't they tell anybody? How does anybody know?
It's really true, Jean, that the living skills to live are not taught. They're not teaching you how to live your life in all the body, mind, and spirit way. So you're hearing good things. You're learning about English. You're learning about math, how to do arithmetic. You're learning about history. But what are you learning about how to do a bank account? Or if you even nowadays, you don't even see your bank account or you see your checkbook. Now it's credit cards. But really understanding finance and understanding all of that is something, but also meditation and getting in touch with yourself, having empathy, teaching compassion and empathy for others, teaching in a way that people feel that empathy toward each other. This early on should be one of the main things that they have for children to get in touch with their divine feminine side, masculine or feminine. We all have it all inside of us, and to really rely on that part and get it stirred up and get it working early so we don't have, the bullies and that kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah. How to treat each other, how to be sensitive, how to apologize, when,
Yes.
The appropriate behavior when somebody is feeling a certain way. And it has a lot to do with common sense, your own humanity, realizing your own humanity instead of the ticket in the world that you want to achieve. It's not always about achieving. We're preaching to the choir. We know you guys already know this, but it's that kind of the way things were and then the way things are. And it's all has to do with your perception, your understanding, and your embodying and sitting confidently or contently in this new reality, that anything is possible, that we have the ability to create and to build beautiful, life affirming, community based structures and systems. And it's absolutely possible, and we can do this quickly. And it's all within our own power. And we've all been taught that it's not, but it is. And and it's that awakening, because it's not that we believed it, it's just that's the only thing that we knew. If you only grew up on an orange planet and you never saw anything blue, and you only saw orange all the time, and then you thought, well, look, behind that door, it's blue. I've never seen blue before. It's a new reality. It's a new awareness. It's a new awakening. And then you're able to do more from what you understand. So, and sometimes, the concepts are abstract. Sometimes the concepts are really, like dimension and density. I'll have to study up on that one.
No, me too.
They're just really big, bold, amazing concepts. But if you break it down into what it was that we knew and what it is that we know now, and it is an evolutionary change in humanity, in the species. So, and that's what we're talking about. It's a spiritual evolution. It's a balance of bringing in what the infinite part, the spiritual part, the guidance part, along with this egoic part.
And I would love to see them teach children about their clairs their clairsentience, their clairaudience, their clairvoyance. You all have the clairs. You were born with them. Everyone does. And to really explore and to understand that you're using them all the time. You really, really are. Some are more prominent than others. Everyone has their, but once you start using them all, they all come online really well. So, as children, can you imagine if they explored that and practiced that? Yeah. And you can add in telepathy
I know.
with
I
all
know.
that.
I've been called to telepathy for so long now.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's really, and my guides have said to, or what I've understood from the information that I get from my meditations is that this is the way humanity is always meant to be, and we once did live this way. We lived on the earth, from the earth, by the earth, and we felt the earth's vibration and harmony, and we listened for the buffalo to run across, and when it was time to hunt, when it was time to eat, and when it was time to rest was when the sun went down. And we had this societal or community tribal based understanding and working together, that no one person will be able to survive out on their own. It takes an entire community or tribe. And then also the Aboriginal, they send their young out alone and tell them to go out on their own and to discover themselves. I mean, just think if we all had that opportunity
I
to do
know.
that.
That's the vision quest. It's really um it's really a spiritual awakening that they're calling young people to have, and they're making the space for it. So I mean, what would happen if we had a society where we did that early on, where we were actually teaching what life is about and how the mechanism works and what we're here to do, along with English and math and all of that. It would be a whole different world if we were sensitized to that. Because it's like you said, Jean, we only know what we have been, what we know, what that there's blue, that the sky is blue, or we don't know things we don't know. So yeah, coming early on and starting to talk about that and develop those um, skills and abilities and seeing how life actually works would probably eliminate a lot of, I think, our divine blueprint or our reason for being here is going to shift dramatically, because we're not going to come in to have that same kind of contrast that we have now with Earth School, the yin yang, right, wrong, good, bad. I think it's going to be a little different. It's going to show up in a different way. What we're here to do, what we're here to achieve, what we're coming together for, will be a higher evolution of mankind, human beings, in a more spiritual capacity. And I think that, so humanity, everything humanity can do together and do out in the universe from this spot right here is exponential. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, this is we're transforming into a new humanity as we speak. We're going through the transformation, and what is on the other side is, you know, much higher vibrational. Uh, you know, it really is in the highest good for all, and it is, it's going to be, it's about evolving and excelling. And they say that, I've heard somewhere somebody say that humanity should be living a lot longer, that we have the lifespan capacity of like 150 years, but we're not quite making it, and we're actually going in reverse. And there's no reason for that other than, inability to gain the understanding and the mm, making those decisions, the best decisions for ourselves.
Mm.
And that, we need to be at a certain place by a certain time because, and I also heard that other ET species are us from the future,
Yeah.
and they need us to be in the, at the place of evolution where they can evolve because it it affects them because they're us in the future,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
we need
Yes.
to evolve in order for them to also be on their path as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that concept that, it isn't a static thing all over the multiverse. Everything is evolving. But when you're talking about the future of humanity and those in the future that can come back, and they come through and look at us and watch us and see what's happening. It is, um, it's kind of a paradox. If we don't evolve to a certain point, this iteration of humanity, where we're evolving to our spiritual selves while being on earth, then it will affect the future of, of those beings. It's really true. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about. But it's also interesting that we've never been in this situation before, and that the astrological alignments are coming in to support this new age, and that they've known about the new age for millennia. So all these things have been talked about. The Mayans knew about it. All kinds of civilizations knew that we were going to have this big shift. Isn't that interesting? It's been talked about for eons of time that this was going to happen. And here we are. So it's kind of momentous for us to pay attention now and to align ourselves with all of this and realize that we have the power, the ability, by our choice, by our way of viewing life, by what we hold in our consciousness, to shift everything. That is huge power right there.
And it's about being open and uh, being open to listening to your instincts, to your spirit guides, to your own intuition. It's about being open and about being flexible and going with the flow and not holding on to fear or doubt or judgment or comparison. Those things are denser, heavier, thicker energies that will prevent us from moving forward into those trust, understanding, forgiveness, and compassion. These things are where we're moving towards. So if you find yourself being resentful or being angry or holding grudges, understand that may make you feel good in the moment, but it is not beneficial for anything moving forward. That if you would like to move away from that, the most important thing to do is to simply let it go. That they say healing isn't really compressing or understanding or absorbing it, and healing is about letting it go.
That's all.
And
And even Jesus, if in the early days, not that I'm just going to use this as an example, told someone, "Well, I can't heal you because you're holding on to this." In a different way, he said it. He said, "It's your karma," or whatever words he used. He didn't say it like that, but he's saying it's part of your divine plan path that you wanted to experience this. And so you're not allowing me to heal you, because we all allow our own healing. And it isn't even about healing. It is about us letting go. Just like Jean said, it's simply letting go of all illusion. That's it. I don't care if you're talking about past life cellular things that you're holding on to, it is literally about letting go of the illusion, the distortion. That is all. It is that simple.
And it's, even though it's simple doesn't mean it's easy, because it is but it is a practice. If we, every moment when we every day when we open up our eyes, and in every morning, and each morning we say to ourselves, today I'm going to be more aware, I'm going to go with the flow, I'm going to let more things go. At each day and each choice, when we are angry at the person that cuts us off, and we like, you know what, that's really not going to serve me in my future, I'm going to let that go. And it's not easy, but if we practice this and we allow ourselves, it'll become easier and easier, a little more second nature. And then sometimes it won't even come up. You'll be like, huh, why doesn't that,
Trigger you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really true. It's really true. I love that. And to realize that when those experiences happen, it's just you're testing, giving yourself a little test to see if you can stay balanced and see if you can stay in that beautiful zone. And so it's kind of a fun thing to say, oh, okay, I'm going to stay balanced in this when next time something like this happens. And just play with that like it's a game in some way, because it helps you to have fun while you're doing it. But really holding any animosity toward someone else really ties you like a emotional strand and string goes right to that person. When you have them in your mind, you're hooking to them energetically, for real. You really are. And so why would you want to do that? But besides that, you are, if you hold that animosity, it's like you're saying, I am a victim of. It's really giving your power away to a person or a circumstance. And in order not to do that, you forgive yourself and everyone else, even though you don't really need to. In the higher aspect, you're doing it because you're on Earth. But that really releases you to just be experiencing things as the experience instead of the drama. Instead of the drama, it's the experience. The difference, there's not an emotional trigger inside of you. You don't send a strand and string of your energy out. Imagine yourself thinking about all these different things throughout the day that trigger you. If you were watching the news, for instance, you have just sent your energy out to 2,000 different places, but you really need to pull your energy back into your energy center, into your body, where you are in that powerful place of the now moment, not into the future of, that thing. So pulling it all back into your energy center. And I just say, I pull my energy back in to my energy center, and I release all energy that isn't mine. You will find it will feel profoundly different the minute you do that. The minute you do that. So, yeah. And Lisa Davis is saying, I've learned that if I'm hurt by others, to ask myself if this affects the grander scheme of things. If not, I tried to let it go. It's absolutely a beautiful practice to let those things go. It behooves you going forward, because that's not going to keep coming up in your awareness. The minute you start paying attention to something that's bothering you, the more it'll come up. That's how the law of attraction, the law of intention, all those things are real laws of how things work. So if you want things in your awareness or in your universe, pay attention to those. And I don't think you want all those kind of things. So what are you going to pay attention to? All those beautiful things that you want to bring into your life, into your world. Beautiful relationships, loving relationships, opening up to everything that you are, spiritual gifts, and everything that you can bring on the stage for humanity, or whatever it is that you're interested in, whatever it is your heart calls you to do. Those are the things to pay attention to, and more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Things that support your own energy and your own empowerment, and it's not selfish. It's so that you have the ability to contribute to the community in a valuable way. Because if it, it's really about building our own techniques. There's no coincidence that all of these metaphysical and spiritual techniques and modalities and healing and all of these things are readily available, and all the classes are online. So many people are channeling. It's really all available for us to open up and to connect to. It's
Yeah.
us to build our own individual sovereignty and our own empowerment so that we can become more fully in our own energy and more fully in our own expression, and with including the soul aspect of us and the human aspect, and
Mm-hmm.
to live life and walk through life with empowerment, with contentment, and with a sense of that you can achieve what you set your mind to. There's free will, and with free will is the ability to choose, and free will is our divine right, and to choose is our ability to create. With every choice we strengthen our own um, I hesitate to use the word power, but it is our own power. But
Yeah.
it's not dominating power. It's about sharing power. It's about learning and educating and building our own frequency and vibration so that others can feel that too.
Yeah,
And mhm.
exactly. And you know, power is about not force. It's not force. Power is about your love, your sovereignty, your energy of the light going out, which is not about that kind of strength and power. It is the power to know who you actually are and to stand in that beautiful space that you have come down in to create. And, you know, something flitted in my mind and it was really wanted to talk about it and then it just went out. But it's really important to allow yourself to realize that someone else in your life you might come across that says something hurtful or this or that or the other thing, that's you making a choice not to let outside things affect your value, affect who you are, affect your worthiness. Your worthiness is intrinsic. You're a divine source being. That is the truth. No matter what shows up in front of you, that is the truth. So if someone else says something wounding or in any way, just go, huh? Because that's their thing. That's not yours. Their stuff is none of your business. I like to live by that because you already know who you are. So I know those are some of the things that happen in everyday life where someone can hurt your feelings or someone can say something that's wounding, whether it's in your family or at work or wherever. You have the choice, the ability to stand in your sovereignty and know your value is intrinsic. It's their thing. Whatever they're going through, they got triggered by. Okay, it's okay for them. I stay neutral, let them have their thing, and you just know who you are because that is really the truth of everything.
It's like our spiritual strength. It's
Yeah.
our spiritual maturity,
Yeah.
this emotional maturity,
Mhm.
Once you see it and once you can detect the behavior of somebody else behaving in a certain way that they're trying to manipulate you, and you can see right through it, and they just don't have any power over you because
No,
you
that's the
have,
whole thing.
yeah, you can see through the illusion.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's just a different perspective, and it doesn't, and you can just, you can have empathy for them and hope that they heal and
Yeah.
send them on their way, but it just doesn't ever affect you. They just don't have that power over you because you've strengthened your own sense of self enough to see through that.
And imagine, early on when you were in school and you thought, if you weren't included in a group or you weren't, from elementary school on, whatever those little things were that made you feel less than, imagine never having to feel that way again because you already know your worth. You already know your value. And it doesn't depend on something outside of you being included in a group, being included in a clique, or being, whatever that is in your life. You don't need any of that to feel valuable, to feel loved, to feel your beautiful light. That is the place where you're standing in your power. And I mean power by love. You're standing in the inclusivity of you knowing you're all that is and you're connected to everything. You are divine source energy, whether it's just a spark of light that you're sending down into this vehicle, you are that light. So allowing yourself to sit in that energy, and no matter what comes in front of you, you go back to that place inside of you, that power that resides within you, and know you're not going to take in what somebody else is saying. And in fact, in the same way, if somebody compliments you or goes on and on about how great you are, or blah blah blah, it's the same thing. You're going to receive it, but you're probably going to receive it in a way in which, oh, thank you, but you're not going to put yourself on a pedestal. You're not going to feel like, oh man, I'm going to believe my press. No, it's just going to be another nice relationship. It does work on all levels, folks. It really does. So you're not going to feel the high highs and the low lows. You're going to be in the sovereign love of your soul, and you're going to move from that. So if you're wondering how that all feels, that really is how it feels.
So, Val, I wanted to ask you a little bit about being a witness and why it is that we're all here and that we are being called to witness some atrocities of others. And, what I've been, uh, my guides have been guiding me saying that it does nobody any good if I lower my energy into that pain and fear that others may be feeling at this moment. It is it is on their behalf that I am staying in my joy and
Yes.
staying in my light and staying in my high vibration. They want us to hold the light, hold the hope, continue living despite what don't let them take all of us. You know what I mean? And
It's true.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just want to say, yeah, absolutely 100%. This is a really important time that's going on the earth plane where you are here to hold the light. You're here to hold it. And so if you come down into the 3D drama again and go into that 3D matrix of the third density, who are you helping? You're still in the program like Neo, before he took the pill. So, in order to help everyone and to stay outside of the system and stay high vibrational and in your soul self, you need to stand and hold that space for everyone. Hold the space from the observation mode. From that doesn't mean you can't have compassion. and empathy. It means that you are not identifying down there in the weeds, because somebody has to stand in the light and hold the light. What is the experience really about? They're in this on their sovereign journey. They're learning from their divine blueprint how it feels to be in this drama. They have their divine journey and they're going on it. So they don't need saving. They're on their journey. They need to walk through it and understand it so they can come out on the other side. That's the sovereignty. That's allowing a soul to have their divine mission and job that they came in to discover about themselves, the contrast. Because we aren't the stories. Even though it seems like chaos and, oh my gosh, all this stuff is happening, we aren't that story. That story is an illusion just created on Earth School to give us the contrast between, oh, this is how it feels to be full of angst and grief and all this kind of stuff. So for you to hold that space, hold that light until these people raise their heads and look up and go, oh, I just heard something that sounded like truth. Oh, why am I sitting here doing this? That's why you're holding the space. And it's not because they're victims. They signed up to create the experience to see it through that lens, through that story, and they're going to live their journey out the way that they need to. But while you're holding the space for them, you're creating a pathway for them to see the light, to see the truth of things, and get out of their little ruts that they're in, or like they can't get out of that particular dimension. They will get popped out by people holding that light.
Oh, that's a beautiful concept that we can, be the light that they're looking for, that they're searching for, that they're praying for. And I do also feel as though there are lessons or an experience that we're here to experience in order to evolve, or in order for our soul to evolve. We need to experience contrast, challenges, oppression, absolute devastation. In order for our souls to evolve, we must learn the other side of beauty, of light, of love, of peace, of joy. It's important for us to feel and understand the diversity, the opposite, in order to feel all of it. And in the same way that some of us are learning this lesson firsthand by being living it, some others of us are learning this lesson or this challenge by being witness to it. It's all a lesson. It's all an evolution. They may be going through this so that we all can evolve. We all can learn. We all can see what is not wanted, what we don't want anymore, what we want to be something different. We want the higher aspect. And it's on different levels, and they may be there doing that for us so that we can all learn, and or we may be here to hold their light so that they can go through that lesson. We have no idea what last lifetimes that they may have, or any of us may have experienced, in order to experience a different sort of role or it just a different lifetime, a different experience in this world.
I love that. That's perfectly said, Jean, because everyone has to understand there's a sovereign soul you're looking at. Sure, they might be in the deep thick of things, but they're a soul who came down to experience this, and honor them on their journey. Because if we put judgment on what they're experiencing, we're just getting drawn back into it. There is no judgment in the contrast. The contrast is just the soul experience to grow, just exactly how you said. So not to judge the yin yang, right, wrong, good, bad, because in the judgment, you then pull yourself down into 3D again. It is just an experience. It isn't judged. And even in the Akashic records, none of it is a judgment. It's a story that happened to you. And you can hear the story, and all of a sudden it dissolves why you're holding on to it. Because you don't need to. It's an illusion. It's just the story. You aren't the story. You are not the story. So beautifully said. And I love that. Yeah.
It's so true, Val. And thank you very much. And I do want to end on that note.
Mhm.
And I know this because all of your loved ones, when you say, well, tell mom I'm sorry, or is she worried about, they're like, they're fine. There's no judgment. What was, it's all water under the bridge. There's no, they don't hold grudges. They're like, everything is fine. And it really, it just, the drama is a story. And I love that, Val. That was really good. Very well said. I appreciate your wisdom, your time, your expertise, your abilities, and just your light and your kindness. I really do appreciate you very much. And all of you here in the chat and watching later, thank you for all of your light, your kindness, and your understanding, and your wisdom and witnessing as well. And we're all here just, helping each other to navigate our own lives and navigate this transformation. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you. And same to you, Jean. Everything you bring to this community, and the classes that you have, and workshops, just amazing, amazing work. So everyone sign up for all of those. And thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Oh, I will be on doing pendulum questions in a little bit. So come on back. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.